Hello, all Hoosier fans, Hoosier haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast. My name is Alex Hicks, and today is going to be a Hoosiers in the Pros episode with the Olympics coming up and TBT off to a great start. It's time to talk about that. With me today and returning is Greg.
Hey.
And a new guest, a trombone member that I played with for 4 years in the Marching 100 from the Windy City, Miss Alison Dry.
Hello, I'm super excited to be here.
Now, to get started with the 100 stuff, Greg, I forgot to talk about this last time, but what are you most excited about for the 100, and what show are you most excited to play in?
Most excited for this year? Well, hopefully to have, this is going to sound grim, hopefully to have a football team to, cheer on that will use those cheers and then win. I just want them to win. Because it's nice being fun, but when you go 3-9, you're like, man, I could have done homework that whole game. It's like, it's all okay when we win.
Yeah, winning cures all.
Yeah, exactly. And then the show, I'm thinking of back when your parents were cool. We did a lot of 80s shows last year, and I liked them. So I think that show's gonna end up having more of those.
I
So
feel like that's going to be Homecoming. I just have a feeling.
I think you're right too, because that homecoming usually has all the older alumni. So that you're probably right. Yeah.
And then, Allison, what show are you most excited to watch?
I know I will most likely be at the homecoming game. However, besides that, I'm most excited to look or hopefully watch in person. We'll see. Hoist the Colors, except that's also my first day of work. So I will at the very least be a YouTube, video watcher, if not in person. But I'm excited to see how the 100 grows, and they have lots of good shows coming up this year, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, Hoist the Colors. I'm really excited for that too. I think that's going to be very awesome. I fully expect the sousaphone Wellerman solely that's going to happen.
For sure. And also Pirates of the Caribbean will be fun.
Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's going to be great. All right, now let's get into it. The Olympics is just a week away in Paris. And first up, we're going to have Allison talk about the Olympics, our fellow Frenchman who went to France for a study abroad program. So take it away, Allison.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So, as Alex just mentioned, I was studying abroad in Rouen, France. So, that's about an hour and a half west of Paris. So, I spent some time in Paris, could kind of scope out how the Paris Olympics will shake out. And I know that it'll be a very busy time for Paris because there'll be tons and tons of people there. So if you're going in person, definitely give yourself plenty of time to go, which I hope some of you are going live in person. That would be very fun. But for today, I'll personally be talking about the IU people who are going to the Olympics for swimming and diving. And for context, I was a swimmer for a while, so that's kind of where more of my expertise is, I suppose. And although I never swam at the Olympic trials, I did get to see them. So for context, for all the U.S. Olympians that I'm about to talk about, they had to go through Olympic swim trials before they could make the team. And so those took place in Lucas Oil Stadium. And that swim meet set lots of different attendance records. So they had to make a specific time to even qualify for the Olympic trials. And then from there, they had to be in the top two of their individual events going on. So that's really incredible for all sports to be able to make the Olympics. But in swimming, 0.01 of a second could determine whether they make it or not. And same with diving, 0.01 points. I'm not as an expert on diving, but it's just as crazy to make it for swimming and diving. So for Paris in 2024, the swimming and diving will happen in an aquatic center in Saint-Denis, France. And a lot of the sessions should be on NBC from July 24th to August 11th if you want to tune in. Without further ado, here are some IU swimmers first who will be making the Olympics, sorry. So first, a lot of people would recognize the name Lily King. She is a breaststroker who actually went to high school at the same high school that Alex is from. So shout out Evansville.
Yeah, they the two. I don't know if they did it for her other medals because I wasn't there for that, but her 2 gold medals in 2016 were in our school for at least for a while. For I don't remember if they took them out or not, or if they were probably replicas, but they
Okay.
were. But they were like to show off Lily King's wins in Rio. It was a big event.
I was gonna say, what they just took the medals, dude. I'd be mad.
I think she probably donated like replica medals.
Okay, to each their own.
There you go.
I don't think it was her actual medals. I think she actually has personal medals that she has with her.
Okay, good.
I would hope so, because, you know, they can always have replicas, though. It's kind of cool for a high school to be like, yeah, we have at least 2 gold Olympic medals. I mean, come on. And then after 2016, she went on to win 2 silvers and 1 bronze in 2020, 2021 Tokyo. So she actually graduated from IU a couple years ago and now is still swimming there with that coaching staff. And she's going to be in lots of breaststroke events this summer, so look out for those. Another swimmer is Josh Matheny, who is a rising junior, and he'll compete at his first Olympics for the U.S. in the 200-meter breaststroke. So yeah, IU tends to be a very strong breaststroke school, and from this lineup also like freestyle, 200 free, 400 free, all that good stuff. So that is very exciting. Next, we have Blake Pironi, who is about to compete in his 3rd Olympics for the U.S. in the 4x200 meter freestyle relay. So he also has, I believe, several medals and is definitely a known name in the swimming world. Next is Anna Peplowski, who's also competing for the U.S. She'll be in the 800 freestyle relay, and she was like one of the people that I was an orientation leader for. So that was kind of fun to like see her in the real world, about to be an Olympian. And 2 honorable mentions for people who are still in high school, but they're from Carmel. They're the Shackles siblings swimming in. So Alex will be swimming in the 200 fly, and her brother Aaron is in the 400 free, and maybe a couple other events. So who knows? Maybe one day they'll be Hoosiers. The Olympic trials definitely saw a lot of people from Indy. Like that's a very powerhouse area, and it'll be cool to see a lot of Hoosiers, whether they're actually at IU or maybe in the future about to swim.
I've heard Carmel is nuts with their swimming. Like there's a lot of Carmel kids that absolutely shout out Christian Peasley in Carmel.
Yeah, I think Alex Shackle is the first person from Carmel who's on the women's swim team, so that's kind of cool. I think that's correct, but
cool.
Fingers crossed. So now I'll be going into some swimmers who are competing for different countries, like whichever country they're from, and that is pretty cool that they can swim all the way at IU, but then go back and swim at their various countries. And also, I will preface this by saying I tried to figure out how to pronounce everyone's names, but I'm sure I will still butcher some. So fingers crossed. But yeah, it's super cool to see swimmers for IU swimming at their home countries too. So first we have a junior named Xing Hui Gan, and she will swim the 1500 free for Singapore. Next, from Germany, we'll have Raphael Miroslav swim the 200 free, and they're a junior right now, I believe a rising junior. Next, we have Miran El-Kamash, who is a senior and will swim the 1500 meter freestyle for Egypt. So there we have 2 different swimmers swimming the 1500 free, which is a very long race. It's basically like a mile, which takes a while, but they swim so fast anyways. Next, we have Tomor Frankel, who is a senior who will compete in 4 events, the 100 freestyle, 100 butterfly, 4x100 freestyle, and 4x200 freestyle for Israel. Next, we have Kotriana Tiderkova. I'm sorry if that was not right for sure. But they're an alum who will compete in her second Olympics for Lithuania in the 100 and 200 meter breaststroke. So there we have more breaststrokers, which is super exciting. And then also for the In the pool section, I suppose, of swimming, we have Ray Luz, who is a 20-year IU women and men's head coach, and he will be an assistant coach for the Lithuanian swim team for his third Olympics. So that rounds out the inside of the pool, I suppose, events. And now I'll move on to open water swimming. So first is Mariah Denigan, who is a junior who qualified in open water 10K. She also placed 6th in the World Championship. And so for open water swimming, she'll be swimming in the Seine, which is a lake that goes from like the English Channel through Paris and then beyond. So 10K is quite a long race, but they'll all be doing great. We just have to hope that the Seine is as clean as can be, because that has been a concern about open water swimming. Next for open water, we have Corey Chitwood, who is a 5-year IU associate head coach for open water, and he'll be an assistant coach for his first Olympics in open water swimming. So that rounds out the swimming portion of today. IU is very strong in both IU swimming and diving. They won the Big Ten championships this year, and they consistently place really well in lots of events at the NCAAs, and now they're also having Olympiads, which is super cool. So for diving, which is a really cool event, it's a little bit more subjective, I suppose, than swimming since it's judged, but still really tricky to make it, obviously, to the Olympic trials and then to the Olympics. So shout out to all of these divers. So first we have Andrew Capobianco, who is a 5th year, and he'll compete in his first Olympics for the U.S. on the 3-meter. And then there's also Drew Johansson, who is the IU head diving coach. And he will be the head coach of the diving team, and it'll be his 4th Olympics. Next, we have Carson Tyler, who's a junior, who will compete in his first Olympics for the U.S. in the 3-meter and the 10-meter. And then finally, we have Jessica Pareto, who is a redshirt senior, and she'll compete in her 3rd Olympics for the U.S. synchronized 10-meter. I would definitely recommend watching, of course, both swimming and diving. But synchronized diving, to me, is just something that's insane because they go at the exact same time, doing all the same flips and spins and all that. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And also the swimming relays in particular are some of my favorites because it's like a team effort, and they also count for more points. So kind of exciting. But that wraps up this section on Olympics for the Hoosiers in swimming and diving. And I'll pass it back to Alex.
And now we're going to go to Greg for all of the stuff that isn't
swimming.
It isn't dealing with aquatic life.
Well, I'm going to talk about water polo, so like at the same time, you know what I mean? Let's start with that then, because we're already talking about water. I want to preface this by saying it is hard to find some information on these individuals, so I tried my best, because like it's annoying because you look up like football or NBA and it's like, oh, there's their entire life, but you look up water polo and their name on water polo and the first thing is their Instagram, and it's like, okay, a little bit of a disservice, but that's why we're trying to do this and get their names out there. So we have 2 former Hoosiers in the water polo Olympics this year. They're both playing for Team Canada. We'll start with Jessica. Again, I might butcher some of the pronunciations on their names. Jessica Gardry-Alt. She's a goalkeeper for Team Canada, and this is her 2nd Olympic game. She previously has gotten a silver medal in the Pan American Games in 2019, 2015, and she was named the most valuable goaltender in the 2015 Pan American Water Polo Championship, which, if you're a big water polo head, that used to be the UANA. A little bit about her. She went to IU in 2013, 2014, and then had like a huge hiatus till 2017, and then graduated in 2018. And then in like her bio on the Team Canada Olympics site, it said she loved being in the water, but she said she was horrible at swimming. So she went to water polo, which I think is really funny because I'm not a big water polo head, but when I think of it, I'm thinking like, okay, you got to swim a decent amount, but I guess that's why she's like a goaltender. So, and then she also has the second most in her career at IU, she has the second like program saves. So yeah, She will be the goalkeeper for Team Canada this year in Paris. And then an attacker for Team Canada is Shea LaRoche. It's either Roche or Roche.
I think both are more French names, so I think it's
That's
like
what
I think it's Jessica Gadrol and then Shayla Roche. I
that's what I
think.
thought. Okay, us
FIFA France.
Americans can't pronounce things. She will also be competing in her second Olympic Games. Her other one was in 2020. So, um, her mother made her do water polo. So, like all moms, she made the right choice there. Um, and then when she was in water polo at IU, she went from 2011 to 2014, and she set the all-time scoring record for women's water polo at IU. Outside of IU, she was the CWPA Player of the Year. Oh wait, no wait, that's in IU. Whoops. She was a CWPA Player of the Year in her senior year and a second team All American. And now, outside of her time at IU, she won gold medals at the 2008 and 2010 Pan American Junior Championships, which is still big. Any medals, like, I think that's awesome. I got a medal in wrestling in high school, and I have that thing on my wall.
Perfect.
um, and now we have a great Hoosier in track and field this year. His name is I think it's Rickoy Brafet, and he is competing for the British Virgin Islands in the 100-meter sprint. Now, most of his time was spent in indoor. Well, it's indoor and outdoor track, but he did the 60-meter, and he actually won the. He got second place in the 60-meter at the NCAA Indoor Championship his senior year. And then he was also the first team All American in indoor track and first team All Big Ten in the indoor track. And then his junior year, he was actually Big Ten Athlete of the Year. His previous years were just as well, but those are like his big picture items that you could put on a shelf. You know what I mean? And they're big players to look out for in the coming 2024 Olympics. But aside from that, we have one big Hoosier in the pro that I think everyone here knows about, and I have an entire Bible of information on. It's Trace Jackson Davis from Indiana. If you don't know Trace Jackson Davis or TJD, do yourself a favor, get like a pizza and like sit down and watch some TJD highlights for like an hour or something. His blocks and his footwork are just very nice and beautiful. And it makes me care more about power forwards instead of really nice threes that wings can shoot. I'll give you the quick rundown though if you don't know him. In college, going into college, he was a 4-star recruit from 24/7 ESPN and Rivals. He committed to Indiana in 2019 when Archie Miller was still in charge, and he spent 2 years with Archie Miller in 2019 to 2020, and then 2020 to 2021, and then his last 2 years was spent with Coach Woody. He is currently like 6'9", 245 pounds, a power forward. In college he started 126 games, 17.9 points, 9.1 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and 2.1 blocks. And some crazy accolades for him, where he was a first-team All-America in 2023, Indiana Mr. Basketball in 2019, and probably the biggest one is the Karl Malone Award in 2023, which is the award for best power forward in college basketball. And now he's in the NBA. He went into the draft after his senior year, and he got drafted 57th by the Washington Wizards. I remember watching that draft and having to stay up to like 2 a.m. or something and having like a heart attack because it ends at 58. I was texting my friends just like, dude, what are we doing here? Because he was predicted much higher. Alex, do you know why he was actually picked lower than predicted, or no?
I think a part of it was his agent and maybe even himself. I don't want to make accusations here, but TJD wanted to go to a good situation. So teams were saying, don't draft me. His agent was probably telling teams, don't draft him, because he wanted to go to the Warriors, which is probably
Oh.
his best option, his best look, because probably he would have been a late first, early second, late first. But I think he probably wasn't going to fit on the Pacers. He wasn't going to fit on a lot of teams. But the Warriors, from what I've seen, have been trying to replicate their big three.
Mm.
And because TJD is going to be the new Draymond.
Yeah.
They try to get Moses
Without
Moody
the
to become
ejections.
the new Clay. Brandon Podjemski is probably going to be the new Curry
Yeah.
in their system as their new big three. And they're trying to make Jonathan Kuminga the next KD. So,
all right. Well, he does definitely fit on the Golden State Warriors. I'll tell you that. But he did get picked by the Washington Wizards, and then he got traded to the Golden State Warriors as the 57th pick. And after his first year at Golden State, he played 68 out of 82 games, and he started 16 of those. And his current stats are 7.9 points per game, five rebounds, 1.2 assists, 1.1 blocks, and a 70.2 field goal percentage. I think that's crazy. He made a really nice impact off the bench and was relied on a lot to start once Draymond got suspended for the second time in the 2023 season and the sixth time in his career. No disrespect to Draymond, I think that guy's hilarious. And he makes for some entertaining clips. Like, he turns basketball into UFC, and sometimes we need that, you know? Sometimes someone just needs to get their block knocked off. But the reason we're mainly talking about TJD is because he has been selected to the USA Select team. And the USA Select team is kind of like the practice squad that helps. Well, that's a little insulting. That's the easiest way to think about it. Is like the practice squad to help Team USA prepare for everyone else. And TJD was selected to be on here along with 14 other athletes. Brandon Podzensky, is that how you say it?
Podjemski.
Podjemski, excuse me.
I think it's Podjemski. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I think Brandon Miller from Charlotte. Yeah, he was selected too, and so was Cooper Flagg from Duke. Yeah.
Yeah, the only college player to be selected to that team.
Yeah, and so he's good.
There's a video out there of TJD being mic'd up.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. I wanted to watch that before this, but I didn't yet.
Yeah, it's good.
Definitely watch that if you haven't. It's good. I know he's a really encouraging guy, but he's also funny. But this is big because hopefully TJ can get a lot of really nice practice from this, and hopefully either gets selected for Team USA or make a big jump in his sophomore year, or just during the off season he's getting some practice in, and good practice, not just like shooting around or something. But some two notable things or like games is like the select team and Team USA scrimmage each other while they are like practicing and all. And there were two notable scrimmages. These might have been the only ones, but these are the big ones I heard about, where the select team lost by 6 points at Team USA, like making it really close. These like college kids and rookies in the NBA were 6 points away from beating like Curry, LeBron, Kevin Durant. Well, I know Durant's hurt, but you know what I mean. But then the other scrimmage they had, they were 1 point away from beating them, which I think is like this select team is not bad at all. They're getting pretty close to getting the actual Team USA. So hopefully TJD can take all this work he has put into the USA Select team and transfer into a better year for Golden State, because that man has made me a fan of Golden State, and I am not happy about it.
Yeah, I think he has a pretty good chance of starting next year as the starting center.
Yeah.
Probably is going to be Curry, Podjemski,
him, and then
Kuminga, Draymond, and then TJD at the 5. I think that's what they're going to do. Prediction. That's just not stating it's a fact. Prediction.
I want him to start so that way he can get more dunks like that one on Wembanyama. That was holy crap.
I think he dunked on another Frenchman too. or was that Khalil Ware? One of the two dunked on a Frenchman in the summer league.
I think that was Khalil. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go into that more next week. But speaking of that, we're gonna talk about some stuff outside of the Olympics. So as I mentioned, next week I'm going to be talking about the different players that got selected to teams in their respective drafts. So that's like the MLS Super Draft, MLB Draft, NBA Draft, NFL Draft, even though we didn't have anyone selected. Some guys that are in UDFAs that have a chance to make the team, and NBA Draft, obviously. So we'll go into that more. But a big one that isn't a player getting drafted, but a player moving teams is Aiden Morris. He is a soccer player, and he's going to be starting calling it football from now on, from a little bit, because he just transferred over to Middlesbrough FC of the English Football League Championship, which is the league right under the Premier League. So if Middlesbrough FC has a great season and gets top 2, they're playing in the Premier League next year. That's how that like whole promotion relegation works. And he has been, so he only played one season here in Indiana in 2019, where he appeared 21 games and had 2 goals. He's more of a midfielder anyway, so he's not really a guy that's going to be scoring goals. But after that season, he got signed by the Columbus Crew as a homegrown signing, because before he was at Indiana, he was in the Columbus Crew's development program. So like, here, go to IU for a year, show out, so let's see how you are. We're going to bring you back in next year. And in 83 appearances for the Columbus Crew, he had 8 goals and was an MLS All-Star in 2023. That got the eyes of Middlesbrough, and they signed him. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I think that they got him. And the first game of the preseason happened yesterday, and he started, played about 60 minutes, and got subbed out. Their first game is on August 10th against Swansea City at 7 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. This is England we're talking about. It's going to be bright and early. But I think they play Leeds United their next game, so that's going to be a very interesting one too. Now, transitioning from one ball getting kicked with a foot and then one ball getting shot from the hands. Terrible transition, I know. But we're going to be talking about the last little bit about IU alumni, the TBT tournament. It's called, the initials are the basketball tournament, but it should be called the Throwback tournament because there's a lot of alumni teams.
That's a good name.
And IU's obviously in it, and they're in the Butler Regional, so they're playing in the legendary Hinkle Fieldhouse for the first few games. It's a 64-team tournament where they just get to have some old friends play against a lot of other teams. So in the Butler Regional, Assembly Ball, the 1 seed in this bracket, beat the 8 seed, the Crew, which was Valparaiso's alumni squad, 89-79. And they'll be facing the Men of Mackey from Purdue University after they beat the Fort Wayne champs, the 5 seed, 75-63. The only upset in this bracket, Eberline Drive beat Team Arkansas alumni team, 79-76. And then probably the best name of them all, the All Good Dogs of the Butler alumni beat Fail Harder, 90-67.
They did fail harder.
So the first game is All Good Dogs versus Eberline Drive on 6 p.m. Eastern on FS1. And then Assembly Ball versus the Men of Mackey at 8 p.m. Eastern, also on FS1. We're probably going to be hearing some Robbie Hummel talk about his old squad, probably some of his old teammates. But one interesting thing about TBT is that they have it's called the Elam ending. I think Elam's the sponsor of it, where it ends on a make. So they have for the first stoppage after the 4-minute mark in the fourth quarter, because they do quarters, not halves. They will have the score. So the team that's leading, their score added up to 8. That's the target score.
That's interesting. So
for Assembly Ball versus the Crew, at the 4-minute mark, it was like 80 to 60. 68, I think. 80 to 67, 80 to 68. So the target score was 88.
Does that, like...
So that basically makes it so you can't like dribble out the clock and like have it be slowed down. You gotta go full out.
Yeah, I can see that like games would last a lot longer, but I do like at least that it's quarters because I feel like that I like the flow of games of quarters more than halves.
Yeah, and there's a lot of IU talent. There's about 8 IU players on the team. Just going from most recent to oldest. We've got some recent graduates that graduated with Trace Jackson Davis. Race Thompson and Miller Kopp. Miller Kopp did not play in the last game, but he will play today. Race only recorded a rebound, but I think he might get more playing time. He only had 7 minutes.
I thought he came in at the 2-minute mark near the end, and he probably filled in at like certain spots.
Yeah, and when he came in, there was a lot of cheers because he had a summer league contract last year with the Knicks, but he could not play it because he had an injury. So this was like his first game back from his injury.
Oh, I didn't know. That's awesome. I thought they were cheering because he was a recent graduate. I knew he had an injury. I just thought he actually did end up playing with the Knicks in the G League.
Yeah, he never got to do that, sadly.
Dang.
But, going a little bit older, we've got Devontae Green. If you know the post that happens yearly, Devontae Green has a tattoo of the GTA unlimited ammunition cheat code.
Yep. I think someone stole that tattoo idea recently, right?
It was I think it was it was either Rob Dillingham or it was Terrence Shannon Jr. It was one of the two.
It was Terrence Shannon Jr. Yeah. What did I mean?
Yeah. Devontae Green was from 2016 to 2020. Miller Kopp obviously was 2021 to 2023. And Race Thompson, the longest tenured Hoosier out of anyone, 2017 to 2023.
What? Did he redshirt and COVID, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes. Then Juwan Morgan, 2015 to 2019. Well, also for Devontae Green stats, he had 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Juwan Morgan, 2015 to 2019. Probably the second best Hoosier out there. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. Played really well as a starter on that team.
I think he's the only one with a double-double.
Yeah, he's the only one with a double-double. Then we have Troy Williams, who I don't know if he's going to play. He's dealing with I believe they call it an Achilles injury that he's dealing with right now. I don't know if he's going to play, but I think he'd be very interesting. Then Jordan Holes also did not play. He's the oldest player. He played from 2009 to 2013. He should play today. Him and Miller Kopp, I think, had travel issues, just like almost everyone.
Oh, yeah, because of... Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to save the best for last. Yogi Ferrell.
Dude, that guy's...
2016 to 2020. Just make sure I didn't... I didn't
2012 to 2016?
2012 to 2016. My bad. 2012 to 2016. I'm trying to make sure. Oh, I forgot to mention Noah Vonleh. He'll be out for tonight's game. He only played 1 year at Indiana. He's a really good... He's an NBA level player. Played actually last year in the NBA for the Celtics a little bit.
What does he have like an injury or something?
Yeah, he has an injury. He's out. I can't remember what they call the injury designation, but
that's fine.
I think it's a leg injury.
Okay.
But going back to Yogi, the program leader in assists did not disappoint one bit. One of my regrets in life was I didn't get to see much of Yogi Ferrell play. And like I slept on Yogi. 27 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 9 of 14 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, shooting it from the side logos.
Damn.
And he was just that guy for IU. And some other players worth mentioning that aren't from Indiana. Starting center Julian Gamble. He went to Miami, Florida. 17 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist. Christian Doolittle from Oklahoma had 7 points, 8 rebounds, and an assist. And then Tyrell Terry, who went to Stanford, had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. This is a really, really talented roster with a lot of NBA talent. Yogi Ferrell played in the NBA. Juwan Morgan played in the NBA. I believe Tyrell Terry had some time in the NBA. Troy Williams had a moment in the NBA. Vonleh, obviously, and more. This is a very, very talented group that could, as that one Buffalo fan said, go all the way this time. I think they have a really good shot to go all the way. They're in the Butler Regional, so they'll play if they win the Butler Regional, obviously, they'll play the winner of the Pittsburgh Regional, which includes UConn's team, the Star of Stores, the Zoo Crew of Pittsburgh, Happy Valley Hoopers of Penn State, and Best Virginia of West Virginia.
It's not the Best Virginia, I'll tell you that right now.
But there's a lot of good programs that brought teams. Kentucky brought a team. Louisville brought a team. Marshall even brought a team. The Herd.
Did North Carolina bring one? Because the thing, it has like it has Louisville, it has Kentucky, Auburn.
The Xavier has a team. Ohio State,
Kansas,
Dayton,
Houston,
Marshall, Auburn has a team. War Ready. Wofford has a team.
We just said UConn. I don't think so, unless they lost in round one. And I know Arkansas is not a big one, but since they got John Calipari, they are. I think
they got John Calipari. Their program's gonna be really nice next year, I think.
Yeah, but they lost first round, so.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a really fun tournament. We got it tonight, and it's going to be really cool hearing those IU chants down at Hinkle Fieldhouse. It's always a great time to rep the Hoosiers, and seeing some of these guys wear those candy stripes one last time is a great, great feeling. Even TJD was at the game.
Him and Anthony
Leal.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And all right, this wraps up everything for today. Some scheduling things for the next few weeks. Next week, I'm going to be continuing with the Hoosier with the Pros with MLB, NBA, and all those drafts. And then the week after that, it will be men's basketball because I got to do it. I got to. It's an IU podcast. I got to talk about the men. But I'll be bringing on 2 new guests. You'll hear them when that happens. But all in all, that is everything for today. And then, well, after that, hopefully I'll get to do 100 preview because Bandcamp's coming around the corner for you guys.
Yeah.
So, that is all for today. Hope you guys have a great day and see you in the next one.